We're back, witches.
We're back, witches and wizards and non-magical folk alike.
And muggles. Wow. Here we are.
It's been months.
It's been a very long time, yeah. There's a lot of changes, some positive, some not so positive.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
And that's the way of life.
How are you?
I'm good. We are in our house that took us forever to move into.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're here.
Is your house like is it a 2-bed, 3-bed? What is it?
It's a 3-bed, and this is like my little office room. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, so I have my own little like home office. Yeah, I love
like
it.
the color of the wall.
Thank you. When it went up, I was actually like, oh shoot, is this too blue? What I'm planning on doing eventually is doing like a very pinky cloud blue sky mural in the room.
Oh.
But for right now, it's just blue.
For a potential nursery one
No,
day?
no,
Okay.
just for me. Not for that.
Got it.
No babies
Understood.
are coming soon. No children will be in this house anytime soon. I think we genuinely have to move into a bigger house or do an extension because having 3 rooms is like, it's not enough in case we had a child because every room has a purpose. This is like my little office. The other room is going to be the music/guest room. And then obviously the main bedroom is our bedroom. But no, someone else said that. They were like, oh, a nursery? And I was like, no, no children yet. We are not ready. But yeah, so yeah. Adam, how are you? What's happening over there on your end?
I'm also in a new
Yes, you are
space.
also in a new space.
Yeah, we moved. Ironically, it was like not supposed to happen basically the same time as you, but circumstances happened the way it were. So then I was like, well, let's also I move as well. So then we both start the pod in like a new refreshed place.
New territory. Yeah.
New vibes.
It's gorgeous. I love your little setup you've got back there.
Thank you. Can you see I didn't mean to leave that up, but we have our big barn door light behind my head just hanging out.
Yeah, no, I can see it.
Because like that
Barn
is where
door light.
that's where we do our recaps.
Yes.
And then that's the couch.
Mm-hmm.
That's a new couch.
That's the new couch?
She's the new couch.
Is it a navy? What color is that?
It's gray. It's dark gray.
Yes, we have a
like
gray
charcoal.
sofa as well.
Well,
let me pull up my script because it's just been so long.
I don't even know how to do this show anymore.
I know. What is Harry Potter?
I did forget until this morning when I like started this chat with you that I was like, oh, I have to summarize the plot of the chapter. So
The chapter.
I will think about that.
I will do that, I guess. Yeah, I completely forgot that this is excuse me, I completely forgot that this is the way this book starts, first off. Did you remember this?
Yeah, I did remember this because it is actually my favorite way any of the 7 books start.
Okay. So you were expecting it. You were looking forward to it.
I was looking forward to it because first of all, I think we'll get to it, but I think Rufus Scrimgeour is probably the best name she came up with in the whole series. It's just so like.
Okay, anyways, this week we read chapter 1 called The Other Minister. Adam, what happens in this chapter?
In this chapter, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom is visited by Cornelius Fudge and his successor, Rufus Scrimgeour.
Great. What a name.
It's a great name. It's my favorite name. It is my favorite name. I got to be really honest. Okay.
Do I have a favorite name? I don't know. I do think Luna Lovegood is pretty good. I like when it's like the same. Starts.
You like the
same
alliteration.
letter.
Yeah. Well, Pomodoro Sprout. Obviously, that's an
no
iconic
pepperoni.
name.
Renamed pepperoni.
Oh, right. Renamed pepperoni. Later renamed.
Yes.
Renamed like the way in the movies Flitwick just starts to look different halfway through the series.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Wait, thank you for mentioning Flitwick. In England, where we live now, we're in a county called Bedfordshire. In Bedfordshire, there is a village called
Flitwick
that is spelled the same way as Flitwick, but it is pronounced Flitwick. And so I'm so shocked that he reads the book and says Flitwick and not Flitwick, because I'm like, that has to not be.
Is
the
it
correct.
A well-known town, village? Oh, I don't know if mine's gonna do it.
I didn't even do it. It was like this.
That's so funny.
I mean, I feel like I mean, you can get to London from Flitwick, so it's well known, well enough known in that regard. Huh. But yeah, I don't know. So I don't know how that did not get caught. No idea.
Interesting.
Anyways,
where does Jim Dale live? I know he is English, but I don't know if he lives in England or if he lives in LA.
You think he's like in Los Angeles?
Yeah, because he was like an actor.
I don't know why. Oh, he was an actor. Okay, I just thought he was like a narration or like a voiceover.
Oh, no. He's
artist.
Famously in Pete's Dragon from Disney. He's the villain in Pete's Dragon.
What?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And the first time I ever watched that movie, I was like, I know that voice.
Oh, okay.
Ari, before we get into this specific chapter, do you have any overwhelming thoughts about book 6? I really like book 6 because we finally will start to get some answers on what's going on with good old Voldy. I think obviously the highlight of this book is Dumbledore and Harry's escapades. Mm-hmm. That's what I would assume all of us look forward to the most. Yeah. Anything at the end you're looking forward to?
No. Was that spoiled for you, by the way?
No. I read Dumbledore. Spoiler alert, Dumbledore dies in this book. When I read it when I was little, I was reading the chapter. First of all, in my book, I can show you because I opened it yesterday to start reading. And my mom wrote, you can see, there, Adam Noecker, 2005.
Oh, wow.
So she's in a ridge.
She's in a ridge. I need to get my originals.
But I remember reading that and then going downstairs to the basement where Leslie was living in our old house. And I was like crying because Dumbledore had died and I didn't know how to handle it. And she was like,
aww,
what's happening?
I can see Leslie being like,
okay.
There. Yeah. It was spoiled for me by Justine. She was like, I can't believe Dumbledore dies. And I was like, I haven't finished reading yet. And then she was like, I thought you said that you were.
Oh, no.
So I knew.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So then it wasn't even impactful. You were like,
no, I'll never know how I would have reacted. I'll never know.
That's crazy. I like this book because I really like Slughorn a lot. I think he's a really complicated, interesting character.
Yeah.
And he is like very like, you don't know really what side he's like on or if he's really even on a side. And I think that's like really interesting because I think that's kind of just generally most people kind of just try to course through without picking the easiest. What is it? The easiest route of just being like, I'm just going to like remain neutral or whatever.
Especially him being a Slytherin too.
Yes. But I would say he is probably of all the Slytherins, I guess, if we're ignoring like the fact that Snape is supposed to be the one that we're like, yeah, he's the good Slytherin or whatever. I guess like Slughorn might be the one in the book series that like is the closest to being like not a complete pile of garbage.
Yeah.
But then
even then, like but the way that he has like favorites and
he's still troubling, but
I know that's what you're saying. Like he's a complicated character.
Yeah, but I would also say that Dumbledore has favorites too. So.
Oh yeah, just in a very different way.
Their own faults.
No. Everyone, or Dumbledore has his favorites in his own way as well. Yeah, AKA Harry.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, let's get into it. I wrote notes on a book this time, so I feel like I'm going to be looking down. So I apologize for people who watch it on YouTube. If you're only a podcast listener, you will not experience any change from the usual. So we start the chapter, the Prime Minister, who is not named, by the way. It's very specifically, he is a non-named character. Because I also think, well, I guess she has named Muggles in the past, but I feel like she is more interested in naming magical folk with like the like superfluous names that are like Kingsley Shacklebolt, like, right? So I'm not surprised that she didn't really feel that, but also I think it's because it's a prime minister. She didn't want to make it too specific. Yeah. Like,
and no party. We don't know his party either.
Right. We know he has a party and there is an opposition party, as there always is in UK politics.
Oh yeah.
So he is reading a memo. I'm assuming he's in Downing Street because I have watched The Crown and I know that. Yeah. So he's in his office. He's reading a memo. There we find out that it has been one of the worst weeks he's ever had in politics. There was a freak bridge collapse. 2 well-publicized murders have happened. A crazy hurricane hit the West Country. And if you don't know what the West Country is, it is commonly the counties of Cornwall, Devon, Dorset, Somerset, and Bristol. That's the West Country.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Great.
And then one of his junior ministers started acting strange, and his name is Herbert Chorley. So yeah, I guess she did name a Muggle.
Herbert Chorley gets a name.
Herbert Chorley gets a name. Prime Minister doesn't get a name, but Herbert Chorley gets a name. So it's not going well for Miss Minister herself. And the other thing that's really weird is it's mid-July, but there's very chilly weather. Unexpectedly chilly, a chilly mist in the air.
Misty, yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't you welcome that in July at this point as someone who has lived in England now?
You would think. I mean, now we definitely should because of the heat wave we experienced last year. Yeah, you would hope, but who knows?
Yeah. So all of a sudden, he hears a little cough from behind him, and he's like, "No, please, God, let it not be what I think it is." Now, this is funny. Where we start this chapter, it's very funny, his reaction, because we basically learn through him wanting to deny it that he knows what the truth is, which is like a funny way to let the audience know that information. But the painting announces it's a little painting of a man in a wig on the wall. Just so funny.
frog-like man.
A frog-like man. She loves a toad frog-like description.
I know, yeah. That's why I was and then is that a callback to Umbridge, the little him, but it's a little toad man?
I don't know, and I think it's just funny because I can't tell you. They seem to be very common in England, I guess, the way she writes these books. But I have seen maybe 2 people in my entire life that I could consider having frog-like features. So the painting announces there is the Minister of Magic, Cornelius. Oh no, he does not say the Minister of Magic. He announces that Cornelius Fudge wants to meet with him. And so he agrees. Fudge flews in, and he looks a wreck. He looks bad,
he's not
girl.
looking great. Yeah.
He's like sallow, sunken in cheeks. His like hair's disheveled. It's not
looking rough.
Tore the fuck up is what
toe
this Fudge is.
Toe up, toe down, toe up.
So Fudge immediately is like, oh my God, you can't imagine the last couple weeks I've been having. And the Prime Minister of England, which I'm sorry, I'm going to say is more important than the Minister of Magic, I hate to tell you, is like, I'm unaware. I'm unaware of things going on.
Oh, you too?
But Fudge reveals that the murders were the Bones and Vance murders, and immediately I was like, oh, Bones, Miss Bones, little Miss Bones,
Emmeline Vance.
Yes. And then we get in the middle of the scene, we get a flashback. We get flashbacks in his memory of like, here are the other times I've met Fudge. Which also, she does not write this way ever. So it's very weird for her to be like in the middle of a scene and then the character being like, and then I'm going to remember the past. I guess she technically did it with, she kind of did it with book 4. What's his name? The gardener? Frank?
Oh, Frank, yeah.
She did it a little with him.
Okay.
But his was more linear. Like it was like, here's the history of the like house that he like took care of, more than it was like his memories in the past. It was interesting.
Yeah. Also, wasn't some of this like out of order? When I was listening to it, I was like, wait, is she intentionally jumping around or mainly, well, never mind. You keep going. When we get to it, I'll mention it.
Okay. So, it flashes back to his first time he met Fudge. It was right after he became the Prime Minister, and the painting squeaks like the Minister of Magic is coming. Gird your loins, girls.
Squeaks.
Yeah.
Minister of Magic is coming.
And Fudge comes in, and this is like peak Fudge, right? Like this is like Fudge at the top of his powers, where he's like, nothing's going wrong. So he meets the Minister of Magic fully, and he's like, so here's the deal. I have to tell you about like the wizarding community. We're going to kind of work together in that if I ever need to make you aware of things, I'll let you know. And the Prime Minister is like, why didn't the former minister tell me about this? And Fudge was like, do you hear
yourself?
Are you going to tell anybody? Like, who's going to believe it? Now, I refuse to believe that as soon as the Minister of or the Prime Minister leaves office, that there aren't obliviators going and wiping their minds. I don't think they're just leaving it to be like, and I'm going to trust that they're just going to keep their mouth shut.
Yeah.
For fear of being seen as crazy.
Well, because they would at least tell like their team or their family, like people that they're, you know what I mean? Like
anyone.
Yeah.
Or you would just get so old that at some point you just start like talking and you'd be like, remember when the minister...
I remember when that painting squeaked at me.
Right. Yes. So after, and this is like in his first meeting, Fudge like tells him, is the first meeting when he tells him about Voldemort, or is it in the Sirius Black meeting when he tells him about Voldemort?
Well, that's what I was... No. The second one? This is where I was like, with the order of events, I was confused. Because doesn't he talk about... Sirius Black, obviously, comes first. He comes and tells him about Sirius Black, right?
Sirius Black has escaped. Yeah.
And then Harry Potter and Hogwarts are like briefly mentioned. But then isn't the next one him saying that Dumbledore has told him Voldemort's back?
So the next one is the World Cup. When that goes awry. And then the one after that is the mass breakout from Azkaban. And then this one is the one where he's like, okay, so Voldemort is back. Here's the thesis.
Was there ever a time where he was like, Voldemort, or Dumbledore says Voldemort's not dead?
Yes.
Or anything like that?
It is in the Sirius Black conversation.
Okay. Yes, because I was like, wait, we're jumping way ahead here. Dumbledore said it all the way back then?
But I don't think Dumbledore ever really thought, to be clear, I don't think Dumbledore ever really thought Voldemort was dead anyway.
Yes, but I didn't know that was a conversation with Fudge so early on.
Yeah,
that was surprising.
I thought it was surprising, but I think it's more interesting because I think it's supposed to show like Fudge has been annoying us for so long.
He had
fully just
ample
being like,
time to prepare.
I think it's actually better if we bury our head in the sand. I think that's like a great decision we can make.
Well, like how he was like, I don't think he really has supporters, so whatever.
Right. He was like, it's fine if he's back as long as he just doesn't have a job.
Yeah. Just make sure he's unemployed, girl.
Let's bring the cult leader back and not worry about if they're charismatic enough to run the cult anymore.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started on, he is a cult leader, girl. Michael and I love watching a cult documentary or a cult docuseries.
Oh, sure.
They're always the same. They always have long hair and beards. They're always some white dude that has long hair and a beard. It's just always, why? I hate it.
It's
so
crazy.
At least Voldemort, at least you were bald and had no nose. You know what? Way to be different.
Way to really change the game. No beard. No really
no hair.
Anywhere.
Baldy.
Kind of like Baldy Voldy. Kind of like a snake in that way. No hair.
Kind of. Oh my
God. So the next time, so after he leaves the first time, after they meet, and he just is like, LOL, the wizarding community exists.
Yeah.
The prime minister is like, okay, so we're removing the painting. We're getting it the fuck out of here.
Yeah, right away.
And I'm not doing this again. Except no one can take the painting down.
Of course.
Okay, which fine. Sure, that's whatever. I don't understand how then no one asks more questions. It's so weird to be like, we can't remove this painting, so we've just given up. At that point, you're the prime minister. People would be like, oh, Russia's like bugging your office or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you would think like national security problems. Then you would like, obviously you're not going to be like, there's a magical community. Blah, blah, blah. But you're not going to just be like, well, it's so weird we can't remove this painting from the wall.
Yeah.
Girl, it's not a mosaic.
Is that a part of the incantation that was placed on this photograph that eventually people just
give up easily? Oh well.
Oh well.
It is funny that she says like, or in it, it's explained like there's like builders that come to try to take it down. There's like multiple people, and then finally, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, which is really just
what is that?
the Secretary of the Treasury, basically can't take it down. Which I was like, why are they being tasked with this?
Yeah,
it's very funny to me. Why is Janet Yellen trying to take this painting down from Biden's office?
Let me take a look. Let me see.
Okay, so the next time, so since they couldn't remove the painting, nothing had happened. The painting didn't talk. He was like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe nothing actually happened. I dreamt that whole thing because I was so high from the win of winning.
I was losing it a little.
Scheming my way to the top. So, but he does say like out of the corner of his eye, sometimes he'd see like the figure shift or like cough or whatever. Or a couple times he just like left the frame. If you're going to be a painting and you are in the office of the prime minister, you got to do a much better job about being like, I got to be still. That's like kind of your whole thing.
I kind of live for it that like when he doesn't think he's looking, he's just like
He's got his like go-go squeeze on the side, and he's like, I just want my applesauce.
Oh, yeah. He's like eating, but like halfway in the frame still.
Like wiping crumbs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like reaches like, yeah. It's definitely that angle. The like 340.
Yeah. The like look up.
Yeah. If he's eating something.
I was a little sad that when Cornelius and Rufus Scrimgeour, they don't address the painting by name, because I was curious if it was like a former minister of magic or something, that's like where his...
No, just like a little... I imagine like Timothy Spall, even though Timothy Spall is in this film series, but I imagine Timothy Spall from like Enchanted or something.
Oh, sure.
Like that type of role. Yeah, that's who I imagine.
You
thinking of someone else?
Yes. What is it? The butler from Naveen's butler from Princess and the Frog. But I don't remember his character
he's the same
name.
character in that too. Yeah, no, I can't remember either. But similar energy in that as well.
Okay, so the next time Cornelius Fudge comes back was 3 years ago. So to be clear, that's third year for those of us keeping track of the book series.
Yeah.
Black has escaped. Sirius Black. It's funny because she types it. It's written how he thinks it sounds. So it's Serious.
Yes.
Black. Which I thought was funny.
Serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Nice
touch.
So Black has escaped. And I think he said it was raining or something. Like the prime minister or the minister of magic was wet. Cornelius Fudge was wet, I believe is what it was saying. So he was dripping on his Axminster carpet. So those of you who don't know, Axminster rugs are like very posh, chic rugs that are made in England. I looked them up. They have like really... They have like really beautiful floral designs classically. That's like what they're kind of known for.
Okay.
But they have other carpets. But I'm assuming for this office, it was probably a very classic, like a
maximalist type of print.
Kind of, yeah.
Over the top. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So then in the conversation, this is what we were talking about. Fudge admits it's easier if they basically just pretend Voldemort isn't alive. He doesn't say those words exactly, but he's like, well, really, like, if he can't come to power, why do we need to even acknowledge that he's back? That's, like, the energy he gives. And it's like, from the get-go, that's a really bad idea.
Just ignore her and she'll go away.
She'll go away. Donald Trump won't be able to run again if we get him off Twitter. He won't get enough power to run again for president if we get him off Twitter. Yeah. That's all you have to do, girl.
Here we are.
Okay. And here we are. And here we are.
Is it him? Is he confirmed now too? Essentially, everyone all but confirmed.
Everyone else has dropped out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's those two.
It's gonna be him and Biden
2020
again.
all over again. Girl.
Oh my God.
Girl, enjoy the United Kingdom.
Oh, it's
your prime minister isn't great either, but like
I know, girl. I was gonna say it's bad over here too, though. But I still vote. Obviously, I just vote from afar, basically.
Right. You are in that like when they do the ballot. DNC, you are the like Americans abroad. We are Americans abroad, and we give our 26 delegates to Joseph Robinette Biden.
Unfortunately, yeah. Here we are again. Ugh.
Okay. So the next time Fudge comes, we're starting to build a yearly visit, which I would say is not good because the first time Fudge comes in, he's like, I'm only really ever going to come if there's like a problem. So like he'll probably never see me.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it becomes a yearly occurrence. And I would start getting nervous as the prime minister.
I know. I'm like, way to set yourself up for failure, dude, to say it like that. Like, I'm just like, have you never heard of under promise, over deliver?
Thank you.
Like, what is happening here?
Also, I feel like, sorry, I understand that there's already tension between the wizarding and non-wizarding communities in general. Fine, whatever. And it's really more coming from the wizarding community than it is the non-wizarding community. But I think it would be good to just have a yearly check-in, maybe even quarterly, just to know what's going on.
Come on.
You're still okay. Here's the thing to really think about. Okay, because if we really wanted to get into the geopolitics of it, because we can't have it, they are still like Molly, Arthur, blah blah blah. All these people, they're still citizens of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, so they're still going to be paying that tax or whatever.
Right. They're still like potentially voting for prime minister or voting for the parties, right?
Yeah.
Like in the right. So it's like they're still your constituents. I feel like you should probably also know what's going on with that side of the world as well. I think it would be beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe they just don't vote.
I mean, I'm sure they don't. Because like how does the Minister of Magic get into office? Because
they have to vote for him.
Do they? They voted for Rufus Scrimgeour?
I mean, that's my guess.
But this is the thing is UK, this is what's weird. UK, you don't vote, you vote for the party, and then the party itself elects the prime minister. So that's what's interesting. So I'm assuming she's basing the ministry on a similar situation.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, maybe. Yeah, because I mean, we never hear anything about politics really within the ministry either. All we know is that Fudge gets kicked out and Scrimgeour comes in.
Well, we don't even know. Like, that's the only thing we get. We don't know if there's parties. We don't know like anything.
No.
The closest we get to parties is like last book in the Wizengamot, how that like half of the room wanted Harry to be expelled and the other half was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But like that's not any defined anything. So
no.
It's very interesting. Yeah. And as an adult, I would be more interested if she had expounded further upon that. As a child, I would have absolutely been bored to tears if she was like, and now let me really get into the nitty gritty of wizarding politics. I would have been
that's why.
Snooze.
Next book.
Yeah. So the next time they meet is after the World Cup when he alerts him that there was like an attack and some muggles were involved, but not to worry. The Obliviators are handling everything. People's memories are being wiped. Oh, and also just to let you know, it's just a thing that's on the book. So I do have to tell you that we're flying in 3 really dangerous dragons and a sphinx to the country. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
I love the information that the 3 dragons and the Sphinx came in together, and so the Sphinx was just like chilling until the 3rd
for like 6 months, just like in a cage.
I bet they just let her go into the forest, and she like reigned supreme in the Forbidden Forest. Because she just was like, I'm superior to all of these beings.
It's so funny because what is a Sphinx? Oh, so a Sphinx is a half lion, half person,
woman,
right?
Basically.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, but like, what does? Are they a defensive creature? I understand that they pose riddles, and because they're half lion, they're scary and intimidating. But like, do they attack? What do they eat? I wonder if my questions are answered in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them book.
Oh, maybe. Dang it. Whenever you search Sphinx, it's just always the Sphinx in Egypt. I just want to look at... Oh, wow. Okay, they actually look very different to what I was imagining. So they have wings.
Oh.
Yeah, they have wings as well. Wow.
So they're like
really
half...
different than what I imagined. Half woman. It's like a head of a woman and like a bust of a woman with a... Here, let me send you this photo. I'll just text this to you.
Oh, I'm looking at it on Wikipedia.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay.
So that was that trip. Okay, then Fudge comes back again to be like, hi. It was January of this year, they do specify. January of this year, there was a mass breakout from Azkaban.
Mm-hmm.
That is so crazy to me because the end of the sequence of events that happened at the end of book 5 happened in like June. So there was like months where just like a shit ton of Death Eaters were just out and about.
Just roaming around. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yikes.
This meeting is where it is revealed that Voldemort is back officially.
Yeah.
She's back. Officially. Officially. And Fudge is like, so blah, blah, blah. And then the prime minister's like, but you definitely told me he's dead. And he was like, well, we don't really know what the situation is, but he is like in front of us killing people.
He has a body.
What do you want to call it, girl? And he's like, the prime minister is like, so whatever happened? So is Sirius Black in league with him or whatever? The guy you told me about? And he was like, oh no, we actually were wrong about Sirius Black. It's so funny. We actually got that one totally wrong. He was, I guess, innocent.
And he's dead, so.
Oh, and also we don't have to worry about it because he's dead. So, oopsie, our bad.
God.
So then Fudge is like, oh, none of the things that have been happening lately, they're all wizarding stuff. Sorry. So the hurricane was Death Eaters and potentially a giant. Unfortunately. So they are in league together now. Confirmed. And the Office of Misinformation has been dealing with the blowout of that and like wiping people's memories. Also, the Office of Information. It's funny. You could just call it TikTok. It's so funny. That was my joke that I came up with yesterday. Amelia Bones has been murdered. She was a witch. And we know Amelia Bones because she was in the Wizard Gamut. She was the one advocating for Harry not to be expelled. So that's very unfortunate. And it's interesting that those two murders were in the public, like the news talked about them. I'm assuming it's because they were suspicious because they say that Amelia was like locked in a room, in an interiorly like locked room. So nobody could have gotten in. And so that's why like the police are so confused.
Yeah.
And the other piece of good news for those of you who are Death Eater fans, everybody else probably won't like to hear this. Dementors are on the attack. They've fully left their jobs. And the other thing he reveals...
Strike.
They're picketing. Yeah. They want better working conditions, and good for them. The other thing he reveals about the Dementors and why it's causing this mist right now is that they are breeding.
I did not remember this at all. What is happening here? Why did this need to be included? I could have gone my whole life without picturing Dementors breeding.
Because now I, unfortunately, have to start asking questions. Unfortunately, that's what we have to do.
Are there baby Death Eaters? What is it like if they have offspring?
I feel like she could have used the word multiplying, and I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
Why did you choose the word breeding? What does that even entail? You are skeletons with cloaks on and a pair of lips.
Yeah. Bleh.
Where does another Dementor come from? What even are we talking about?
Do they lay eggs?
Also, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Do they lay eggs? Like, what happens? I just am so confused. Like, what would a Dementor offspring even be like? Are they just a little, like, wisp that floats around and, like, sucks the happiness out of the air from people? Like,
Why did you write that they are breeding? The word breeding.
Don't understand. Ugh.
I don't want to. I don't want to think about two Dementors, which are just a sack of bones, having sex together. If I want to think about that, I can go watch twink porn. Okay, that's my. We're back.
We're back. Here we are.
Okay, so that's all I had to say about that. And I really wish she had not included that, because then it did immediately lead me to be like,
what is that? Then?
So, the prime minister is like, well, aren't you the minister of magic? Why don't you fix these problems? And Fudge is like, girl, you think all this is happening and I'm still the minister of magic? Girl, I resigned 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So, he reveals that he's actually here because he's going to introduce the new Minister of Magic to the Prime Minister. Mm-hmm. His name is Rufus Scrimgeour, and he's on his way. The little painting in the corner is like, oh, he's just a couple minutes. He's right. Okay, yeah. So Rufus says
no,
that
but all from the angle. All from this angle. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. He actually, and then it's like he doesn't even turn his head. He just looks.
He's like,
oh, yeah, so he's coming.
He's on his way.
He's on his way. And Rufus is writing a letter to Dumbledore, and Fudge is like, good fucking luck. I've been writing like multiple letters a day to Dumbledore.
Love that. He was like,
again, I gotta point out, you don't need to write letters, people. You have built-in texting. You just send your Patronus.
Also, or pop into that Flu Network.
Although
girl.
I bet Cornelius Fudge cannot do a Patronus. I bet he has not enough good memories.
Maybe.
Happy thoughts. He or flew to the fucking
put your head in there real quick. You don't even have to go. You just stick your head in there. I don't know.
Anyway, so he's sending letters to Dumbledore. This is a weird line, and I don't remember the book well enough to know what the fuck Fudge means by this, so I'm going to say it to you. He says, quote, if he'd just been prepared to persuade the boy, then maybe I'd still be ... Persuade Harry. It's definitely Harry. That's the only boy in the series that is ever worth mentioning. Persuade what? What does he have to persuade him?
It's not that exciting. He just wants to persuade him to like back the ministry. Like say, I think the ministry is doing a good job.
Oh.
It's not that exciting. Yeah.
Okay.
Be a poster boy.
Yeah.
Be a poster boy for the organization.
For the institution that tried to like destroy your life.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Good luck with that.
Rufus Scrimgeour comes in and immediately is like the alpha male in the room. He's like, I'm locking the doors. I'm closing the blinds. We're having a private conversation. And then Prime Minister is like, I'd like my door left unlocked, please. And he's like, and I'd like to not be disturbed. So I guess we're at an impasse here, buddy. He is described as like looking like a lion.
Yeah.
So right into our Sphinx conversation, I guess, to some extent.
A manticore.
A manticore. In my head, Rufus Scrimgeour sounds like the Cowardly Lion, only because
would I would the king of the forest,
not duke, not earl, not prince. Okay. Rufus Scrimgeour comes in and it's like,
did you ever play the Cowardly Lion?
I've never been in the Wizard of Oz.
You were in the Wiz.
Obviously, I was.
Look how happy Friedrich is, too. Friedrich loves it. Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day?
So he's like, so here's what I want to tell you. This is Rufus, by the way. Rufus Scrimgeour is like, here's the deal. You need more security. And the prime minister is like, I'm fine with the amount of security detail that I have. And he's like, okay, but we're not fine about that for you, is what we're saying here today.
No, but we're not
You're not
happy.
hearing us. I don't care if you're happy. We're not happy. And so he's like, so your new secretary, Kingsley Shacklebolt. And he's like,
casual.
I don't want to hear a bad word about Kingsley Shacklebolt. He is the best secretary I've ever had. He gets twice as much done more than the other girls. He is efficient. He is a slay. He is a serve. He's got the best name. It's iconic. And he's like,
wait. Why am I picturing Saphira Crystal when we're talking about Kingsley right now? I'm picturing Saphira Crystal like in a suit.
I love Saphira. I
know.
love
I'm
Saphira.
Team Saphira.
Oh, yeah. I'm either Saphira or Nymphia for sure.
I mean, I like Nymphia too, but Saphira is just like, I know. I'm not really a fan of Plain Jane. I like her more now as she's kind of mellowed out a little bit, but I just never am really a fan of that girl, the girl that's like that vibe. It's just never really, I'm always like, eh. But Saphira has just like completely won me over. I love her so much. And I just feel like it's similar to the, Sasha Colby. Like it's just kind of like she's in a category of her own. Rue and her literally seem like lifelong friends whenever they're together. Like it's just, she's on another level. Anyways.
So Rufus is like, okay, anyway, if you let me finish my sentence. So Kingsley, we actually installed into your office. He's
one of us.
An Auror. He's a wizard. So he's helping to protect you. Yeah. And he's like, oh, well, then I actually don't want. And he was like, but I thought he's doing a great job. Isn't he doing a great job?
I thought you loved him. You just said you loved him.
I thought you just said you loved him. Isn't it true?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I just thought about the painting on the wall as this is going on. And the painting is literally like. Oh, bitch.
Oh, bitch. Oh.
And then like looking off into the distance again. He's like.
When they like glance his way. And then we find out that the trouble that his interior secretary? No, his interior junior minister. Junior minister Herbert Chorley, as we all know. He actually has been quacking. So it's not great.
I'm sorry, but weren't you surprised with how the actual like prime minister was not that disturbed by this? He was like, "Oh yeah, I just need some time off or like some time with family." I was like,
he was like, he needs to lay off the
response?
drink.
Just give, I was like, oh yeah, it's because he's drunk. I was like, wow, I guess a lot of shit flies over here, huh?
Yeah, well,
I don't understand
a big drinking
that.
culture.
I mean, that is true. That is true.
So he's like, yeah, it was a poorly performed imperious curse. So he's actually, that's my question. Who's performing this curse? Why are we cursing the junior like what? It was weird to me. I understand why they would go after, I guess if their point, I think of it is to be like, they're going to try to go after, they're going to cause chaos in the Muggle world so then it can be chaotic enough that the Wizarding world can take over, I guess. But like, guys, just by pure numbers, you can't. It doesn't. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's actually been sent to St. Mungo's for reevaluation, and he's tried to strangle 3 healers at Mungo's. So he's going to be out of the public eye for a little bit.
Yeah. Also not
Fudge
great.
is now also not great. Fudge is now in an advisory capacity. So he is a consultant. He's a consultant now, let's say that, for Rufus Scrimgeour. And it's a little embarrassing, but also like, I guess it's weird because I don't hate Fudge. I think he's like a shitty politician.
Yeah.
But I guess it is nice that he's staying on to like help because I think he does want this to not turn into what it's about to turn into in the next 2 books.
Yeah, he's not a great person, but he's also not like evil. Like he genuinely wants, the best.
I think if there's anything you really need in an advisory capacity, I would say it's really like Dumbledore. I would try to maybe get that because I don't know what benefit Cornelius Fudge is going to bring to your team. But I mean, I guess all just hands on deck.
He would essentially just be able to be like, well, what I would have done in this situation, or like what I didn't get to do in this situation, or what I wish I would have done previously. Like that's the best he can do, really. Yeah.
And then they go to leave, and the prime minister is like, but you people can do magic. Like just solve the problem. You have you can do anything. You have magic.
Yeah.
And Rufus, as they're leaving, says, the problem is, dear minister, the other side can do magic too. Wow.
Yeah, bitch.
Wow. And
we all can do the magics. Everyone but you can do the magics.
What we have in this book series, right? She has... Death is like a constant presence, but as we escalate toward the end of the book series, death is more common. So even in this chapter, it's there's reference to like 10 or I think it was 20, maybe it was 20 cars went into the river during the bridge collapse. And like, you can just read it and be like, oh, it's just referencing cars. But like, obviously people were in those cars. Like
in those cars. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the bridge collapse did you see that? Did you make it?
Oh my God. No, it was all over here. Yeah, no, that's really horrible.
It's so
and just
crazy.
Like, what are the chances of something like that happening? You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, it's just awful. And then the people that were trapped on the ship, I'm assuming that they're off now, but they just had to like stay there.
Yeah.
For however long.
Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was horrible.
And that's it. So yeah, that's we're back. We're in it. New characters.
Yeah. We're gonna meet some new peeps.
I'm hopeful that next chapter she's kind of like left the the early book series. Harry Potter was a small boy who had hair that stuck up on one side. Like she's left that kind of behind, so I don't think we're gonna get that. But I don't remember what's in the next chapter.
Yeah, I can't remember either off the top of my head.
I know that.
Thank you, Adam. Oh, sorry.
I feel like the 6th movie is the one that I feel like feels the most different from the book itself.
I love the 6th movie.
The 6th movie is really good. It's very good at condensing everything. But like, isn't the 6th movie the one where it starts and he's like at a diner, like flirting with a girl, like a waitress?
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Why did we need that? Yeah.
It's so weird.
I don't know.
Fine, Harry Potter can flirt with me, but I don't care about that.
Yeah,
it's
that's
more
fine.
Just like,
but what was the point?
What's the point? Yeah, I don't know.
Why? What is the point of getting him out into the Muggle world and like a diner in that capacity?
I guess
like, why can't he just be in Privet Drive?
I guess really, when you think about it, the point is that the 6th one is where he and like Ginny start. So they're like setting up like Harry is in a horny state of mind.
Harry wants to get it on, guys.
Harry wants to fuck.
I was going to say maybe they're trying to show the Wizarding world and the Muggle world overlapping. Like how in this book, in the beginning, we have like, oh, and this is affecting the Muggle world now as well. Because isn't there stuff there? But they do that later on anyway, don't they? With like the wibbly wobbly bridge and how like that
wibbly wobbly,
isn't that
timey
in this
wimey
film?
I thought that was the 7th film. I don't remember though. It could be this film.
Maybe. But I'm like, that's the only thing I could think of in terms of like trying to give them the benefit of the doubt that like there is a reason for that.
With the huge smoke clouds of the like Death Eaters like spinning the bridge or whatever.
Flying.
And then I never know if I'm supposed to believe that they can't see it or not. it's not clear. If
Yeah. Can the Muggles see that or no? Yeah.
Because like they're what?
Anyway. I don't know.
But it's like in the 5th movie when they like flew next to that ferry on brooms, and I was like, what? What?
And like past Big Ben.
Hello. Goofy
Literally
ass.
just down the River Thames. I'm like, Thames, sorry. Like, I'm like, what? Past Tower Bridge, too. I'm like, the most populated area.
Thames.
Thames. Okay, amazing. Thank you, Adam. That was a wonderful first chapter in the new book. Thank you. That wraps up this chapter. Next week, we'll be reading chapter 2, Spinner's End. We do have a new review.
A brand new
review.
Yes.
When we're recording this, obviously. This is from Bob is a Cutie. What'd you say?
So I forgot when we were releasing this. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is from Bob is a Cutie. If I could give you more than 5 stars, I would. There is nothing this anxious millennial loves more than new episodes of HP Anxious. Oh, thank you. Well, we're recording one right now for you.
We're back.
Thank you so much.
It's happening.
We back. Thank you for the kind words. We love hearing what you guys think. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts, as well as video versions on the Ampliverse YouTube channel and Spotify. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so that we can get a perfect Newt score. 5 stars only, or else fudge will just show up to your place of work in the middle of the evening.
No, I don't.
Yeah, to give you bad news.
Bad news and bad advice.
Yeah, bad news and bad advice. Just all bad. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HP Anxious or YouTube and TikTok at the Ampliverse. We are hosted on Spotify for podcasters, so thank you to them. And we are a proud member of the Ampliverse. Check them out at theampliverse.com. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
And as always, Knox. Oh, wait, no, we should do it back to back. Back to back.
Oh, wait. Here,
no, do that. That's better. So we're both.
Back to back. We're facing each other? Okay.
Are you, we're facing each other on my screen. Are we facing each other on yours?
Yeah,
okay,
we were.
Yeah.
Do you want us back to back?
No, go back the other way, and then we'll say Knox again. Stupid. And as always, Knox.
Just gonna. Gotta.